Hello everyone and welcome back to another Destiny 2 video. Today's video will be covering the best legendary primary weapons for solo players. So mainly I'm just going to be talking about weapons that are more on the easy side to obtain, especially just staying away from raids and dungeons or any difficult activities that require teammates. Before we get to the video, I just want to say that we are so close to 4,000 subscribers. If this video helps you at all, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. I don't want to waste any more time. Let's go and jump right into this list. Starting off, we have Hung Jury, a kinetic scout rifle which can roll with kinetic trimmers, and that's really what we're looking for when it comes to scout rifles. Anything that rolls with kinetic trimmers is exactly what we want, but Hung Jury specifically can also run with explosive payload alongside it, making this one of the more S tier scouts that are available. And if you're interested in grabbing this weapon for yourself, there is a couple of ways you can get it. For the original version of this weapon, it can be farmed through Nightfalls depending on if it is the weekly rotation or not. If it is not, you can always focus your Vanguard engrams into the weapon itself at Zavala. And since Hung Jury is a Nightfall weapon, it does also have an Adept version, but that does require you to complete Grandmaster Nightfalls when the weapon is in the weekly rotation. But obviously that's not a requirement to have a good roll, and if you are a solo player and aren't comfortable completing Nightfalls, especially at the Grandmaster difficulty, I wouldn't recommend this version. Instead, I would recommend heading to the Onslaught activity located in the Vanguard tab. There's two versions. The left side is the playlist, which only goes to 10 rounds and then the activity ends, while the one on the right actually goes to 50 rounds and rewards you with a bonus chest at the end. The 50 round Onslaught also offers an expert version, which gives you an additional chest every 10 rounds. The best way as a solo player to farm the Hung Jury from Onslaught is to head to Zavala and go to his focusing tab, and then clicking on Hung Jury, and then I would recommend going to the 50 round Onslaught depending on if you have time or not, and just doing the normal version. You should load in with 2 other randoms and they will most likely help you get it done, and every 10 rounds you will be rewarded with a chest, and most likely given the Hung Jury depending on your RNG. If you're looking to get the 5 out of 5 God roll, the barrel I would recommend is Fluted Barrel, and the magazine I would recommend is Tactical Mag. While like I said before, in my opinion the best perk to go into first column is Kinetic Trimmers, while the second has a bunch of other perks that you can play around with. Explosive Payload is my number one personally, however you can also get One for All, Firefly, but again I would just recommend testing it out to see which ones you like. And for your masterwork I would recommend Reload Speed. For the next weapon we have the Midnight Coup, a kinetic hand cannon which used to be farmed from a raid, but lucky for you it was reappraised and is now much more easily accessible. This weapon is not just a good weapon for solo players, this is a good weapon for any player. It competes with most hand cannons in the game, especially in PvE, but this weapon does not require you to do a master raid. All you have to do is, again, go back to Zavala, go to his focusing tab and click the Midnight Coup, and then go to the Onslaught activity located in the Vanguard tab, and again I would recommend farming the 50 round Onslaught rather than the playlist version, just so you can get that double chest at the end. And if you're looking to get the 5 out of 5 God roll, I would recommend Fluted Barrel for the barrel, Appended Mag for the magazine. I would recommend Firefly for the first column, but you can also get Explosive Payload, that's really good too. And then for perk 2, I would recommend Frenzy, but you can also get One for All if that's what you prefer. And then for the masterwork, Handling is going to be your best option. Alright, that's it for all the Onslaught weapons. I won't be recommending any more, but if you are a solo player, I would recommend taking a look at all of them and just seeing if you want any of the other ones, because they're all really good weapons to have. But anyways, moving on to the next weapon, we have the Warden's Law, a heavy burst frame kinetic hand cannon, which is basically the easiest heavy burst hand cannon to get in the game right now, at least if you're trying to stay away from in-game activities. But the heavy burst hand cannon in general is very good to pair up with something like Lucky Pants, but Warden's Law specifically can roll with Vorpal Weapon, which is just a really good pair up, especially if you're trying to run Nightfalls or anything with champions. It's pretty good at shredding them down, and when hand cannons go on the artifact again, it'll be even better. If you're interested in grabbing this weapon for yourself, it can be accessed through Nightfalls when it is in the weekly rotation. It also has an Adept version, which again requires you to play Grandmaster Nightfalls, but remember that's not required to get a good roll. If you are a solo, the best way I would recommend farming this weapon is just going to do the normal advanced Nightfall, so that way matchmaking is on, and then just keep farming and seeing if you get it from the chest, while also just getting Vanguard engrams so you can go and even focus those into the Warden's Law. But remember, if the weapon is not in the weekly rotation, you will not get it from completing the Nightfall, but there's also a chance it won't drop at all anyways, just because you are on the normal version. If you're looking to get a 5 out of 5 Warden's Law, The barrel I would recommend is polygonal rifling. For the magazine, I would recommend flared magwell. For perk 1, I would recommend fourth time's a charm. However, you can also get perpetual motion, which is pretty good. And for perk 2, I would recommend vorpal weapon, but you can also get frenzy. And that's just completely up to what kind of build you're making. And for the masterwork, reload speed is going to be the best option. Moving on to the next weapon, we have the Vantage Point, an arc pulse rifle, which in my opinion has one of the best perk pools that we've seen from any adaptive pulse in a long time. Not that we've seen an adaptive pulse in a long time, but this weapon is perfect for chain kills and really good for arc builds or prismatic builds. And I always mention this, I don't know if it's because I love pulses, but it's just this weapon can be obtained from Revenant activities, which means you only have until the next expansion, which I think is in June or July, but I don't think it's confirmed yet. But don't worry, this weapon will still be accessible when the expansion comes out, we just don't know how it will be obtained. You can also use tonics in the last city to help you get the weapon. I've made a guide here on how to unlock all the tonics if you're interested in doing that. And if you're looking to get the 5 out of 5 god roll, I would recommend fluted barrel for your barrel, tactical mag for your magazine, keep away for perk 1, but stats for all is also pretty good. Jolting feedback for perk 2, but you can also get 1 for all. And for your masterwork, I would just recommend doing handling. And for our final weapon on the list today, we have another seasonal weapon, this time from Heresy, the Mirror Imago, a strand SMG with a pretty good perk pool that can be easily farmed from Heresy activities like the Nether. And you can also go to your Tomb of Want in your inventory and activate the SMG focuser, which makes the weapon insanely easy to farm. And I would recommend doing this before the expansion comes out, just because this is probably the easiest way you're gonna get it. For your 5 out of 5, you're gonna want fluted barrel for your barrel, tactical mag for your magazine, grave robber for perk 1, sword logic or swashbuckler for perk 2, and a stability masterwork. You can also get the origin trait willing vessel, which is my favorite. But that's gonna be the end of this list. I tried to pick a mix of weapons between things that are going to be leaving soon and also just in general what's easy to get for solo players. And these 5 weapons are really good to have, especially if you're just starting. You'll probably use these until you quit the game just because of how good they are, depending on if the sandbox changes a lot from now. But thank you so much for watching this video to the end. If it helped you out at all, again, consider subscribing. I know we can get to 4K before the end of the year. But anyways, I will see you all on the next video. Peace.